Advice that every woman should know before she starts dating a guy that has nothing to do with the guy himself so much as her friends is that your friends are not dating your boyfriend. They don't want to hear about him all the time. They don't want him at every event. Welcome back. It's your host, Halli Smith, for another episode of Girlcore. One time, I really hated somebody that one of my friends was dating. He was just not a good person. He was super manipulative, super toxic. Just like immediately from the start, I had a bad feeling. And guys, I really trust my gut because I always usually am right. I couldn't really put it in words though, especially at the time. Technically, he had given me nothing to hate on him. He had clearly not done anything at that point to make me believe that he was a bad person, but just something in me, I saw darkness. Like when you can see somebody's eyes, just like the eyes are empty or saying more than the face is saying, like their eyes are really speaking behind them when they talk to you. A few of my other friends also agreed, like, I agree with you, Halli, but technically there's nothing wrong. In my younger days, I laugh at myself one time. She had a talk with her man because he got really mad at me and he was like, you need to talk to freaking Halli because she refuses to say anything to me besides just barking. Like she'll just bark at me. And like, that's such like a young, immature thing to do. Like I can't imagine now at my grown age, like barking at a man. But I hated my friend's man so much that I would not speak to him. So I would just bark at him. He'd be like, oh, Halli, hey, I'm like, woof, 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 woof. I would literally just bark at this man. Drove him mad. But honestly, the fact that he got so mad at my barks, like, come on, I would bark back. If a bitch barked at me, I'd be like, woof, 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 bitch. But yeah, I had bad vibes. Turns out, after this, when your friend's dating somebody and then they break up and then they're like, yeah, he did this and this and this, and they just trauma dump all the bad shit he did in the relationship, but they never told you. I don't know why girls do this. Some of us just hold shit back. We get out of a relationship and now we're like, yes, finally I can tell you how terrible they actually were because in our friends' eyes, we don't want to make them hate them because we're like, I kind of like him still. I don't want to ruin his image. It's a girl thing. But literally, she then like trauma dumped a bunch of terrible shit that he had been doing. It was really funny because me and my friends, like I personally am not a super emotional person. Like, I don't get into stuff super deep in that way. Yes, I have deep conversations with my friends, but I'm not an emotional person. I'm not a crier. If I can clearly see you're having a bad day, you're having problems, but I'm really not one to pry. Like my mother-in-law, love her, amazing woman, but she loves to get emotional and she's so good at unlocking that emotional side to people. Some people just have that energy where you just want to tell them all your secrets and really have them listen to you. I am not one of those people. I am like the friend that if you tell me your problems, I'm going to create a solution. Maybe I just have a lot of earth sign in me. I'm a Capricorn. That's my rising. Also, I went on TikTok live and everybody was asking me my signs and I was telling them, but then I guess I missed one of the comments and everybody was like, she's not going to tell us her rising. She's not going to tell us her rising. Guys, I wasn't trying to hide my rising. It's honestly pretty obvious. I feel like I've talked about it before and I've even made birthday posts in January. And I'm a Capricorn. I'm not hiding this from you guys. She tells us a bunch of the terrible bad shit he did. And I was just like, what the hell? I am not that deep emotional friend. I have another friend who is more deep and emotional. And I was like, oh, they probably know what's going on. I roughly knew something was a little off. I tried to talk roughly about it with my friend, but we didn't really get into it too much. She didn't really say anything. But I was like, okay, our other friend is there for her. And so throughout like those pretty much this, like their relationship was probably for 2 years on and off. And then later on, like years went by. I think it was probably like 5 years, 4 years until me and that friend who I thought was being her emotional crutch, we were talking and I was like, yeah, so you were there for her when she was going through that, right? And they were like, no, Halli, I thought you were talking to her. And we were like, hold up, bitch was not telling us anything. And we each were at the moment, like at the time, like literally this is me and my friend group to the core, is like, we're also like, understanding, trusting, and really have a deep friendship where like there's no pressure. If you don't want to talk, if you're a little distant at times, we get it. Things happen. None of us were trying to be disrespectful. Even though I did want to know what was happening in my friend's life, I figured that if she couldn't tell me at the moment, I would find out eventually. I figured she was telling my other friend. And at the time I was like, I wish I could be there for her, but I get it. She can talk to them better than she can talk to me. I'm not super emotional. And vice versa. My friend was like, yeah, I want to know what's going on as well. But I was like, okay, as long as she's talking to Halli, I know everything's fine. But girl was talking to neither of us. It shows a lot of things. First of all, trust your intuition when you think a guy's bad. Second, don't take anything too deep. If you are like offended that maybe you think your friend is talking to somebody else more than you or divulging more of their personal life to your other friend, they might not be telling anybody. I was in my head being like, damn, like she doesn't, kind of talk to me about these things, but it's okay because as long as she's talking to somebody, turns out bitch wasn't talking to anybody. And I didn't find this out till years later. It's honestly one of those things where you're coming of age and you're growing up and you're learning about friendship and relationships. You don't know what to do when either you or somebody else, your friends, your family, don't like your partner. They don't like your boyfriend or whoever it might be. One day, somebody isn't going to like somebody that you really care about. And it's hard. It's hard to be on that side because you're like, well, I know this person. They're a good person. My friend back then, when she was dating that guy, I'm sure had her reasons why she didn't want to tell us certain things because like she knew that, oh, like I really do care for him and he is a good person. And she knew him on a different level. When you know somebody on a different level, you can vouch for them. You can make excuses for them. And even if they don't need excuses, even if you're like, this person's honestly, truly amazing, it's a really hard journey to handle when people don't like your partner or your friends don't like your partner and vice versa. When you don't like your friend's boyfriend, whatever it may be in the future, it's rough because it really attacks your attachment style. If you find yourself getting defensive because your friend is dating a guy and now she's putting him above you and she's hanging out with him all the time, you need to remember it's a part of life. She's going to dive into it. She's going to go all out. You also have to realize this is really going to trigger your attachment issues and feeling like abandonment or even feeling a little bit jealous and like you want to control things. Usually when we're feeling resentment or something towards somebody, it's because we want to control the situation, because we're feeling left out, because we are feeling hurt. Maybe I did feel hurt that my friend was putting this man above us, that she wasn't hanging out with the group anymore, that she was isolating herself, that she wasn't giving us her time and energy like she used to. But at the time, I didn't know how to put that into words. I honestly couldn't even understand what I was feeling in the moment to make sense of it. But now, as an adult, now that I understand things, when you don't like your partner's friend, you need to analyze it first within yourself. What is going wrong? If you don't like your best friend's boyfriend, why? Is it attacking your friendship? Do you feel like she's neglecting the friendship? Is it attacking your attachment styles? Some things you have to realize are your fault and that you need to work on those things. You can't be possessive of people, but that doesn't mean that the person, your friend, or the other person isn't in the wrong either. Because when you're young, even when you get older, you're going to see your friends put their relationships above you. And it's not bad per se. I think there's a balance to it at times when they're in that honeymoon phase, when a couple just gets together and they're just dating, it's just them two together. You just want to spend your every moment together. It is completely valid and real, and that just happens. It's going to absolve you. It's going to take over your world. But there's a time where you have to pull your head out and be like, okay, I have other friends and people also in my life that want to spend time with me. Or even if you don't, even if you're somebody, I know people are gonna be like, I have no friends, so I'm with my boyfriend all the time. You still need to pull your head out and be like, hey, I have my own life. I have my own responsibilities. I need to focus on my own free time, my own hobbies, my things that I do when I'm not with my partner are very healthy and necessary. But if you find your best friend dating somebody, you need to talk to them and go over a few things. First of all, just state how you're feeling. Only use I statements. I feel like you are now dating. You guys know I love using the word Chad. You are now dating Chad and you spend a lot of time with him. I get you guys are dating, but I would just like a little more one-on-one time with you and be very specific to your needs, not being like, well, you have been completely ignoring everybody. All you do is care about him. You don't care about me anymore. That's going to make her upset. That's going to make your friend get mad. And then you are kind of attacking her. And you're also putting words in their mouth. You don't want to do that. If you're like, oh, well, you are now leaving us and you don't want to even hang out with us, they don't feel that way. They might just have their little rose-colored glasses on because they're new in love or just infatuated. Say what you want and explain it to your friends. Be very clear with your boundaries. Hey, I would like if we could have some more one-on-one time, just me and you without your boyfriend. When you're with me, to be present. It makes me feel bad when you're always on your phone texting him or snapping him. It just kind of makes me feel left out and not seen as your friend because when I'm with you, I want to spend my time with you. And like, it's not like a weird, creepy way, like, you're my friend and you only be with me forever. Like, no, like literally, this is just like If you're a good person, when you're with your friend, you give them your time. You're not going to be on your phone 24/7. Remember that you are just feeling this new intrusion into your life, into your friendship. And it could be whether you're dating a guy or your friend's dating somebody or your family doesn't like your boyfriend. It's because people are fighting this new intrusion. Like, okay, so now Hallie's gonna bring her husband everywhere. Now he's gonna be in the family Christmas card and the dinners and the vacations, and he's gonna be here all the time. And I know that's threatening. Honestly, I speak from experience because I'm literally married now. And I did get married young. I would have never planned to have gotten married at 22. That was not in my plan. I'm not like a religious person in the way of like, oh, I will marry, save myself for marriage. It honestly just happened. I was not dating for marriage. It just so happened I clicked and found the right person. And honestly, I think that's something very true. You should not date for marriage because then you're going to put pressure on yourself to possibly stay with the wrong person, even though they might be toxic and not the right match for you just because of your fear of failure. Because you're like, well, I'm dating for marriage. And if I break up with him, even though he has all these red flags and even though we're just not working out, then I'm failing because then I'm not going to date for marriage. And then I have to date again. And then you feel bad about yourself, like you're breaking a vow to yourself. So instead, date for fun. Date because it is fun, and then you might just stumble across your perfect love. I wasn't dating with intention for marriage. I was dating for intention of happiness. I just wanted to do it because it's fun, because it's nice meeting new people, and because I might find another really great person along the way, which I did, and it's how I got married. But that goes back to what to do if your family doesn't like your partner. It's an intrusion. Now they have to share you with somebody else, and that's not always fun. And even I noticed, like, my parents, like, yay, no more family vacations together because they're gonna be there. And even though my family thankfully loves my partner, they have no problem with him, they think he's fantastic, they still had those growing pains. And even I had to talk with my dad. And he's like, well, I just hope we can still spend some one on one time together. And I was like, of course, yes, we will. So don't feel weird if you have to assure people in your life that you're still going to be there for them, even if it's your best friend and she doesn't want to feel left out because you have a boyfriend, or your own relatives who might feel left out that you're now dating somebody or being with somebody in marriage. People are going to feel a little bit hurt. And that's a good sign because that means you're a good friend, you're a good daughter, sister, whatever it is. If you have people being like, hey, I love you so much and I love spending time with you so much that I'm honestly a little bit jealous to have to share you, it's kind of a good sign. It means you're awesome, okay? But no, it also means that your friends and your family cares about you and they just want to make sure they're still getting a piece of you. If your family or your friends do not like your partner, it's really important to sit down and listen to them with no judgment. Hear what they're saying to you. Maybe it is valid. Maybe your partner is toxic and they don't respect you and you need to hear this. Listen to your friends, listen to your family, and then take their statements and think about it. If they're saying this person is mistreating you, they're doing this and that is wrong, why does it make you mad? Because if you're getting mad at your friends being like, well, you're just jealous that you don't have a boyfriend. Okay, calm down. It sounds like you're coming from a place of hurt because they just told you, like, I saw him talking to another girl. I saw him on a dating app. And you're like, no, that's not true. He would never do that. You need to look at your own feelings and see how what people are telling you is making you feel because obviously you're feeling hurt and now you're feeling defensive and now you're attacking. So just remember that if your friends or family do not like your partner, to listen to them without judgment, to reflect on what they say, and to think about it before you react and say something mean or something honestly coming from a place of hurt because maybe they did say something that was true and that you didn't want to admit subconsciously or consciously that was, kind of bothering you. After you've listened to your friends or family, set the boundaries. I know you don't like my partner, but that doesn't give you the right to be mean to them or to say these things to them. I want you to respect them and be polite, okay? Advice that every woman should know before she starts dating a guy that has nothing to do with the guy himself so much as her friends is that your friends are not dating your boyfriend. They don't want to hear about him all the time. They don't want him at every event. They don't want you talking about him every time 24/7 you guys are together. You can go alone and be with your friends and still give your time and energy to your friends. We all know that when we're with our friends alone, it's a different relationship. You guys are a little more deep. You guys are yourself in a different way. And maybe your friend doesn't feel as comfortable around your boyfriend. Lots of girls overstep that boundary because they want everybody to love their boyfriend so much, like they want to make sure their friends really like him and enjoy him. But they don't have to. You can't force your friends to love your boyfriend. That isn't their job. You're the one that's supposed to like him, not them. Leave him at home. You cannot make your friends and family love your partner. The worst thing is that people try to force their partners upon your family or your friends. Like, Chad, like, he's amazing. He's amazing. No, no, no. Hang out with us. Like, you're telling your best friend, like, please, please, please. No, no, no. He can come with us. He's actually so cool. You're going to love him. You'll have so much fun. She doesn't have to love him. She doesn't have to think he's the best. She's your friend. She didn't want to be his friend. He just got thrown in here. That's just going to make them feel annoyed. Instead of making them like them, it's going to make them even dislike them more because now they're really intruding upon your guys' own little time together. If you're getting into an argument with somebody, whether it's your friend or your family, and they're like, well, I'm just being honest. I'm just being blunt. No, you're not. You're just being a bitch. Because honesty without compassion is just cruelty. You can tell somebody something without being mean or harsh. How you say it and how you present it is really important if you want people to listen to you. And if you're just being super rude, don't let people try to bulldoze over you and act like it's okay to be super mean and rude and just straight up, because it's not. It's just being a bitch. It's just being uncompassionate, and that's not how you treat people. And you remind them of that. Hopefully that helps you manage your friendships and relationships. It is okay to expect these things, to expect time from your friend, to expect energy from your friend or from your family. It goes vice versa. Maybe your mom is dating somebody, your dad is dating somebody. I come from divorced parents, and it gets tricky even when your parents start to date people and invest their time with people that aren't you. It makes you feel a little bit attacked, abandoned, like, oh, well, they don't care about me anymore. And that's not always the case. It really does come down to you assuming things. And that's the worst thing that you can do in any friendship and relationship. Unless you ask, unless you clearly state how you're feeling, nobody's gonna know. All right, guys, it's that time. When you are deep throating, I had a situation where I kept gagging slash like burping. How can I prevent this when I'm giving brain to stop burping? If you're burping too much while giving brain, it honestly happens. First thing is you're probably mouth breathing. You're being a little Darth Vader. Like, that's why you're taking down air, which is making you burp all the time. So try to breathe through your nose. I know it's kind of tricky, especially if you're really going to the bottom, to the deep end of the pink water bottle. It's going to push that air down, but try to breathe through your nose. This will help you. And to do it a little slower, if you're pushing the pink water bottle down too fast, this is pushing a bunch of air down your throat as well. So do it a little bit slower and keep your lips sealed. If your lips are getting more open around it, you're letting in air and then you're pushing up and down that air bubbles, and that's going to make you burp a lot. So the tighter your lips are around the pink water bottle, not only does it feel great, but it also will help get less of those air bubbles and hopefully help you stop burping as much when you're, hey girl, I saw your last TikTok and podcast where you were talking about waterfall girls versus ice cream girl. How do I turn into an ice cream girl? I don't know how to do that. Okay, I was talking about how girls sometimes get that discharge. It looks like melted ice cream down there. And it happens when we're really, hot and heavy, getting excited. This can happen during your ovulation cycle. If you track your period roughly, you don't have to perfectly know your period schedule. I personally don't. Like, it usually fluctuates a little bit. But when you start seeing a little extra discharge in the undies, that's usually a sign that either your ovulation cycle is there or it's about to happen. This is usually the best time to see the ice cream when you're, doing the deed. You will see that. So either it'll be the lead up to your ovulation cycle or during your ovulation cycle. That is usually when I notice the most amount of ice cream happening. So if you're like, oh, I haven't seen it, it might be because you weren't going to do the deed during your ovulation or right before the ovulation cycle. Now, this can also happen before, like even if you're not ovulating, it could just be you're just really hot and heavy. And that kind of, extra fluid, little thicker white melted ice cream happens. But usually it's when your ovulation cycle is happening. Track it a little bit. You can figure it out based off when your last period was and then figure out when your next ovulation cycle is. And you can ask your man to tell you if it looks extra ice creamy, let me know. Because usually, unless you're looking at a mirror, you won't see it and you're not really going to feel it. Maybe you'll feel extra slippery, but it's not going to change too much. I've seen it because I'm a bop, so I've made videos and I've watched back the video and I see like, oh, wow, it's getting really creamy. But that's the best way to be an ice cream girl, is to see when your ovulation cycle is. All right, next question, kind of connected to what we spoke about earlier, but hey girl, I really need some help. My best friend has kind of abandoned me lately since she started dating this new guy. She gives all her time to him, and I feel really left out, and I don't know how to talk to her about this. All right, if you feel like your friend has abandoned you because they started dating somebody, really, first of all, analyze why you're feeling this way. Is it because you're feeling like you're gonna lose her? Like your attachment style is kind of being threatened? Like, you kind of feeling a little bit possessive? Kind of analyze first why you're feeling these things, kind of pinpoint what's happening. That way you can then go talk to her and to your friend, hey, I know you're dating, blah, 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 and that you guys are super happy. I just feel a little bit left out and like all your energy and time is going to them. I would really love some one on one time with you. Tell your friend these things in I statements. Don't attack them. Don't be like, you're so mean. You never spend any time with me. You're so awful. Don't do that. Just say, I feel this way. I need this. And usually your friend should be pretty understanding to the situation once you kind of laid out for her. Now, don't be rude. Don't be condescending. It's really hard not to sometimes. And especially remember, your friend might get a little defensive, okay? Even if you guys are friends, she might take it a little personally because maybe it triggers her. Maybe she kind of feels a little guilty because she knows she's been ignoring her other friendships for this new guy. And so she might react a little bit. But remember, this is her first time hearing this from you. You've had time to think about it and process your emotions. Maybe she hasn't. Just be like, you don't have to think about it right now, but like, you don't have to say anything now. But I do feel like you've been losing interest in other things besides him and discuss it with her. So just lay it out like that. I want this friendship to work. I want to preserve it, but I just want to make sure that we're both putting in the same amount of energy because honestly, it's going to happen in your life. Friends are going to get new responsibilities, whether it's their job, their children, or their partner, and you're going to feel a little bit left behind. You just have to kind of communicate. But obviously, guys, I saw that comment and I was like, wow, perfect for today's discussion. Next one. Hey, girl, I need some advice on how I can dry hump. People say that it feels really good, but I don't exactly know how to do it when I'm with my man. All right, if you are trying to do a little, dry humpback whaling on your partner, it's honestly quite easy. The best position first, I think, is if you guys are either sitting down, like on a couch or a chair, you can climb on top and straddle them and usually sit on one of their legs. Don't be split in the center, like sitting over them like this. Like sit on one of their legs with your coochie on their thigh. And then when you guys are smooching, you can move your hips a little bit, wiggle, do your thing. That one feels really good if you're trying to do a little dry humping while you guys make out. What I really like is if you guys are lying in bed next to each other to do a little, dry humpback whaling, is to kind of like have him, you guys are facing each other, lying sideways, and then have his leg kind of like between your legs and kind of right against the kitty cat. And that way, while you guys are smooching or doing whatever, you can kind of thrust and move your body better on his leg to kind of give the kitty cat a little bit of that friction, a little bit of that action, because it feels really good. And the last pose that I love to do a little bit of this, dry action is when you're standing against the wall, standing up actually. You guys can be smooching and same thing, you're going to have him put his legs kind of like in a split and then you are going to come over him where you're going to have your kitty cat on one of his thighs, but while he's standing. And for you, you're kind of going to be doing like you're standing, but slightly lifting your knee a little bit. So you have one foot flat and then one leg slightly raised on his. So your cat's kind of rubbing against it like this, he'd be standing and then your thigh, like kind of wrap your one of your legs around his leg. And that way you can rub your kitty cat against him better while you guys are making out. If you want to do some dry humping, it feels great, but make sure you're wearing the right fabric because sometimes jeans might be a little bit too harsh, maybe some linen pants, silk pants, leggings. Those are usually really good. Jeans can be good or bad. It could be a little too rough or it could just be just right. It depends. So make sure you're maybe wearing something that's a little bit softer material. And for him, it doesn't matter too much since you're rubbing your cat on him. He can do the same to you, but usually it's not usually guys' forte. I haven't met too many men myself that like to like dry hump me per se. Maybe it's just like body size too. I feel like I just haven't really dated a guy. They're usually a lot bigger than me. It's harder for them to grind their groin against my leg. But it could happen. It could totally happen. I mean, I have my man jokingly dry hump me. Like, not like seriously. I have not had a guy do it. But you could definitely do it. I think though, if your guy wanted to, I would recommend you guys are in bed because it'd kind of be hard if you're standing unless he's shorter than you. Dry humping though is really good. It's honestly a very natural act of friction against the kitty cat. And women can usually reach the O just from doing that alone, like rubbing the kitty cat. Lots of people like to do a little dry humpback whaling by themselves on a pillow. They have certain pillows made for it, but you can use your own pillow at home. You could use the armchair of a couch to rub your kitty cat on with your clothing on. But it is an act that many people are into, and don't knock it till you try it. Last question. Hey girl, I hope you see this because I really need some help. I want to give my man brain, but I don't know how to start. Like, I don't even know how to get him ready or how to initiate it to give him the brain. If you want to drive a man wild and initiate giving him some brain on the pink water bottle, on his cucumber, first things first, you guys are smooching, you guys are going in for it. Then kind of trail your hands down a little bit to the stomach, kind of graze right there, kind of feeling around. And then go for the waistband. It's such a sneaky place to tease and pull, slip your hand halfway into smooching. And while you guys are smooching, I like to just kind of like, lightly be like undoing the belt, the buckle, the jeans, whatever they're wearing, or kind of like, shimmying down. And depends if you're sitting, like it depends if you're in a car, a bed, a couch, but usually you undo whatever they're wearing. And then I'll smooch down. So when we're kissing, I'll stop and pull away and smooch at their neck. And then I'll make a trail down the body of smooching until I get to the waist. Smooch a little bit near the cucumber, but not on it. Usually during that time, because you've been teasing them and building up, they should have a little bit of a stiffer, hard pink water bottle by then. If not, at that same time, like once I have it undone and revealed, I will grab it and start going up and down on it, depending if they're snipped or not. Just add a little spit on the hand. It seems weird to do that. Like you're like, ooh, Halli, no. But trust me, it's hot in the moment. Put a little bit of spit on the hand and then go to the very tip and then pull down to get it wet everywhere on the pink water bottle. And then just lightly do a little hand action. I usually do a warm-up touch where at first you're just doing a little hand and then I'll take my mouth and do a big lick from the base all the way up. And then once I do that, I plunge my mouth over the top and do a few halfway, on the pink water bottle. I'm not going all the way down immediately. I'm just kind of warming up. You need to warm up your throat, ladies, because it's like a freaking oven, okay? It doesn't just go like 0 to 350 immediately. It takes time. Sometimes I'll notice like my throat is kind of tight, and then after like 2 minutes, it loosens up. I relax, they relax, and then I'm able to slip it all the way down. So don't be immediately like having to take it all the first go. Let your mouth warm up a little bit. Just go halfway, tease a little bit. You can kind of lick around the top of the pink water bottle, the tip of it, flick with your tongue. Do these things and then try to push down and you'll feel your throat start to relax more. And then you can go all the way down and continue using that up and down motion, using your hand at the same time, doing a little twist. You can take breaks if you want to just use your hand for a minute to catch your breath. Go back to just using, no hands, just the mouth, whatever you feel. But that is usually just the best way to initiate and start giving them brain wherever, car, bed, couch, it works everywhere. Woof. Guys, what another amazing episode of Girlcore. I had so much fun with you guys. Please give a good review and I will see you guys next Sunday.